Pride Nation, if you don't want to hear anything about religion, you don't want to hear anything about God, I'm going to simply ask you to skip this video ahead to about 3 minutes in, maybe 5. If you don't want to hear that. If you don't want to hear any type of religion praise or anything of that sort, I'm going to ask you, just skip it up 5. Because I have to talk a little bit of religion today. I have to talk a little bit different today, at least for the first few minutes. And I understand if it's not your cup of tea. I usually don't do this. But 3 weeks ago, I probably had one of the worst weekends of my life. 3 weeks ago. I had a moment where I went from celebrating, cheering, taking photos with my nephew who just graduated high school, to crying, praying, and just being lost after he was shot in the head going to a friend's graduation party. I had that on the cusp of seeing the actual video of my brother being murdered. And then the very next day, my cousin attempted suicide. And it just seemed like there was no getting around to it. It seemed like I was not going to get a day of peace. And I came on and I made a video and I said to people, I said, hey, I'm only asking for prayers. I've been MIA because I've been putting my energy into my family and I'm asking for prayers. God told me if I ask him, he would hear me and he would do. And he did. Not only did he show up and show out, he did it in a way that was unbelievable to me. 2 weeks after my cousin attempted suicide, he came home. He's got the help that he needed, and he's doing really well. The case for my brother, who was murdered of last year, is going along really well. I may not even have to go to trial. He's going to plead guilty. And my nephew, who had just graduated from high school, who had just turned 18, who had took a bullet to the head 3 weeks ago, came home Friday, walked into the door the same way he walked out, with the minimum, at best, a little bit of memory loss. He does not remember being shot. He does not remember that night. He has no recollection of it other than what we've told him. What he has done has been astounding. The doctors told us that 95% of the people with his injury do not survive. 95%. In football, if we had a person who caught the ball 95% of the time, we would say that was absolutely astounding. That was amazing. And 95% of the people with my nephew's injury don't come home. And if they do come home, 85% of them come home with serious complications. But I prayed, and I prayed, and I cried, and I prayed some more. Then I cried some more. And I cried a little bit more, and I prayed some more. And I got prayers from all of you. And if you are one of those people who prayed, if you're one of those people who offered positive energy, who offered positive words, if you pray to whatever God you believe in, but you pray to a God, you went to your prayer closet for me, I thank you. I thank you. Because not only did my nephew come home, he came home almost 100%. It's a little 2% thing, so there's a little bit of memory loss. He got shot in the head. A bullet that clean went through his head. The possibilities of so many things that could have went wrong, to the surgeons whose hands were guided, to the nurses, to the therapists, to you people who showed up, I thank you. My nephew came home, and the first thing he asked me, what you been up to? And I probably hugged him too tight. Because he said, Unc, that hurts. And I'm just telling you that for those people who don't understand what grace and mercy look like, that's what it is. That's what it looks like. I didn't have to plan a funeral. And I know it's somebody in here who did. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But for the first time in my life, my prayers were answered. At least that's how I feel. The little boy who came to me when he decided to have sex and needed to talk because he was too afraid to talk to his parents. The little boy who came to me when he got the simplest thing as a C to a B grade. The one that called me Uncle Dad is still here. He's still doing good. And it's 3 weeks from a bullet going through his head. So if you don't want to hear any religion stuff, I get it. Skip this thing forward by like 6-7 minutes. But I got to testify. I got to give God the praise and the glory. I got to tell him thank you. And to all of you who showed up, thank you. I'm finna have some fun today. I haven't been this happy in a long time. So I'm finna have some fun today. I want all that same energy. I want you to tell me I'm batshit crazy. I want you to tell me I'm out of my mind. I want you to tell me I'm ridiculous. But whatever you tell me, keep it beautiful. Keep it honest. Keep it who you are. And we getting ready to have some fun. Because I got a lot to catch up on. But I just wanted to tell you all, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now let's talk football.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Pride Nation, we back at it again. I'm in a damn good mood. Ain't nobody stopping my shine today. If you think I'm a hater, so be it. So let it be written. So let it be done. I am not in the mood today. I'm going to be addressing a lot of things. A lot of stupid, lazy journalism. I'm going to be addressing some of this fan base. I'm going to be addressing J-Mo. I'm going to be addressing the Detroit Lions defense and some of the other media that's out there. I'm going to be addressing other teams, YouTubers. I got a lot to cover. And if you are on lunch, if you are in a good mood like me, if you got something to smile about, you got something to be happy about, get your popcorn ready. We finna have some fun. Let's see who's in the building with me today. Big T is in the building. What up, though? Y'all, if y'all don't know, Big T won our Pick'em League. I will be bringing it back up this year. He not only did he win it, he won it convincingly. So that man be paying attention. So y'all get yourself together. We got my man Chrome in the building. DH95 is in the building. Malik Mills is in the building. We got my man TA from Raw Podcast in the building. We got that fan man in the building. Mars is landed. One of the greatest dads on planet Earth is in the building. We got my man Jack Frost is in the building. My brother from another mother and way across the pond, my man Anthony from over a Roar the Lions UK is in the building. He says, I hope you're doing better, well looking twin. Better looking twin. I hear you. Been waiting eagerly for your return. I'm here. I am going to be doing a lot more streams. I got a lot of stuff I'm gonna be doing throughout the week as I do it. So bear with me. I'm in a very good mood. I am in a very good mood. I cannot tell you how happy I feel when he walked through that door. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Joel C is in the building with me. Let me see, make sure I ain't forgetting nobody. Shout out to my man T. He says, thank you, Jesus. Amen. Right? You know, hey, it was a rough week. I'm gonna give you the truth. Giovanni Lyons in the building with me. My man Joe Lewis 313. It says, I seen Luke live. I stopped and hurry up. Hey, and you're gonna get some petty Luke today because I got some things I got to address. We got my man Motown Football in the building. Billy Vendables in the building. D. Williams is in the building. Perry Ball is in the building. Let me see, man. Let me see. Randy Osborne is in the building. Mike Baker Hotmail, okay, is in the building. If you in here, put something in so I can shout you out. I'm finna cover a whole lot. Starting out with one of the stupidest damn things I had to even talk about today, but it is what it is. Now, I'm trying to figure out, do I want to go with my usual won't smoke thing for this one or my no ops? Let me try something new. Let's see. Is that volume good for y'all? I need to make sure we do this appropriately because I'm about to get real into this. Let me know if that's too loud for you. I need the people to talk to me today because I'm in a vibe right now. I'm in a whole new level of vibe right now. Shout out to all the people in the building. John Jones in the building. Shay's in the building. Let's start this off with one of the dumbest things I had to go through today. Let's see. Not even today, just over this time period. Jameson Williams and fireworks. I mean, I know news is slow, but damn. I know what happened in Jason Pierre-Paul, but damn. We really are writing articles about people lighting fireworks? You got 97.1 the ticket talking about you make money with your hands? Okay. Since we doing that, let's do it to the fullest then. Maybe he shouldn't drive a car. I mean, he's more likely to get into a car accident than he is to blow his hands up with a damn firecracker, right? Maybe he shouldn't fly because he's more likely to have a plane accident than he is to blow his hands up with a firecracker, right? Like, at what point do we get real news about players instead of trying to create monsters? This is exactly why I'm on YouTube. This is why I exist. We have a media who is supported by a baseless, misinformed fan base that loves to shit on things they don't understand. And it doesn't make sense. It has no valid reason to make sense. It blows my mind. We're talking about a player that we can find 1,000 things wrong with what he did. We got people that's mad about him being in Detroit, giving out money to kids for bottles of water. We got people being mad about him lighting fireworks. You know, I get it. The gambling, unexcusable. But, let's stop it. Let's stop it. Because at the end of the day, so what? If your concern is about him, he can, he already suspended for 6 games, and you still had the #1 scoring offense without him. Relax. You can't tell me trust in Dan Campbell, trust in Brad Holmes, trust in Ben Johnson. And then all of a sudden, we're concerned that if we lose this one guy, it's over. It's done. That's the end of it. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I'm not asking for you to take a stand that says you need to see how I see it. But if we're talking about all the things that they're going to do dangerous, there's a number of things. What if he decided he wanted to smoke hookah? I mean, how far you want to take this? Right? Maybe. You want to argue that devil's advocate. You want to argue he needs to stay off social media? Okay, he's still trying to build a brand. You want to tell me that it's probably not in his best interest to do some of these things that he don't need to do, fine. Tell me that. You want to tell me those type of things, I'm cool with that. But firecrackers, the same firecrackers most of you lit this past holiday. But he's making, so what? He could buy a new hen. It'd be okay. Seriously. It was just lazy journalism. Nobody cared. Nobody really cared. It's just that everybody's ready to see what he's got, and they don't want anything to derail it further. But the reality is I don't think we're having the right discussion about J-Mo. Then we did have some news that kind of got my blood boiling. Some news that kind of made me a little upset. But I had to be honest about it when I saw it, and it came from Speak for Yourself. And this has been addressed by a number of different media outlets. This has been done by a number of people. Right? But he had some choice words. And we're going to get into it because the question was asked, who are the most overhyped teams in the NFL? Let's see what he had to say.
Control. That's fair. I think that is the right answer. I think my answer will get partial credit. Y'all's got full credit. I'm going with the Detroit Lions, 2-5. I think Detroit's the most overhyped team, not named the Jets. One, I'm not convinced the Detroit Lions actually know what they're doing. Last 3 years, they have the third worst record in football.
Now, everybody's probably addressed this. I'm going to take a little bit of a different approach to it because his argument is so contradictory that many of the people that I saw address it ignored it to this fullest. I'm going to start it back over just a little bit in case you missed it, because he's going to say something pertaining to records, but he starts his whole reasoning off with records and ends it with records. Let's get it.
Got full credit. I'm going with the Detroit Lions, 2-5. I think Detroit's the most overhyped team, not named the Jets. One, I'm not convinced the Detroit Lions actually know what they're doing. Last 3 years, they have the third worst record in football. Now, we hail them as though they know what they're doing because they went 9-8 last year. But yeah. I don't just look at records. I try to, one, watch the tape like Shady alludes to, but more importantly, I try to look at the nuances that the record tells you. Who did you beat? When did you beat them? How did you beat them? How did you look when you beat them? That's why Joy and I think we're on the bandwagon last year. The Minnesota Vikings were pretenders. If you look at the record, oh my God, they're so good. Watch the games, y'all. Pittsburgh Steelers, the year they lost to the Browns in the playoffs. Pretenders. Oh, they started off 11-1. Watch the games. When I look at the Detroit Lions and I think about who they beat, last year, 3-6 versus playoff teams. Dan Campbell's career, 5-11-1 versus playoff teams. They're not beating good teams. Now, they're beating bad teams, and in the NFC, maybe you have an argument. Well, there are a bunch of bad teams this year. But when I look at the Detroit Lions, I'm like, we grade them on a curve, rightfully so. I was drafted to Cleveland. I understand.
All right, good people. That's my man, Sam Acho. I hope I say this name right. You know, he had a little bit more to say, but I want to go back to repeat some things. I'm going to break down his whole argument so that for the people who may have missed it in the back can catch up. He talks about the record. He doesn't look at the record, but let's just review.
Is the right answer. I think my answer will get partial credit. Y'all's got full credit. I'm going with the Detroit Lions, 2-5. I think Detroit's the most overhyped team.
Now, let's start with the first part. I think Detroit's the most overhyped team, not named the Jets. Cool. Keep that same energy. I want that same overhyped talk that you doing now. Keep that same energy. You think we overhyped? Perfect, Sam. And yeah, like Woodward Sports did, they can show what you did at your career. I can care less. Because we're not talking about an individual. We're talking about a team. You think they're overhyped? Cool. And the Lions fans and the Lions themselves should hear this and say, oh, so you think we overhype, huh? Cool. Because their job is to prove it and show that they're not. I'm cool with that. You want to raise the bar on the Lions? Perfect. We already have as fans. Cool. Raise the bar. But let's get back into what he got to say as he breaks down this I don't talk about records.
Named the Jets. One, I'm not convinced the Detroit Lions actually know what they're doing.
That's funny. That's funny. So at this point, I'm expecting him to say something pertaining to why he believes they don't know what they're doing. But let's see what he says.
Last 3 years, they have the third worst record in football. Now,
last 3 years, they had the third worst record in football.
we hail them as though they know what they're doing because they went 9-8 last year. But I don't just look at records.
So he don't just look at records. Right? That's what he says. He doesn't just look at records. But then proceeds to go on to talk about everything records.
I try to, watch the tape like Shady alludes to, but more importantly, I try to look at the nuances that the record tells you. Who did you beat? When did you beat them? How did you beat them? How did you look when you beat them? That's why Joy and I think we're on the bandwagon last year. The Minnesota Vikings were pretenders. If you look at the record, oh my God, they're so good. Watch the games, y'all. Pittsburgh Steelers, a year they lost to the Browns in the playoffs. Pretenders. Oh, they started off 11-1. Watch the games. When I look at the Detroit Lions and I think about who they beat, last year, 3-6 versus playoff teams. Dan Campbell's career, 5-11-1 versus playoff teams. They're not beating good teams. Now, they're beating bad teams, and in the NFC, maybe you have an argument. Well, there are a bunch of bad teams this year. But when I look at the Detroit Lions, I'm like, we grade them on a curve, rightfully so. I was drafted to Cleveland. I understand grading people on the curves, but I don't think they're a legitimate lead. All that. Shady, which team is more overhyped? But
grade them on a curve. Who curve? Yours? You're always late to the damn party. That's the problem with people. They're always late to the party. Everybody wants to tell you what they believe already happened. Tell me what you think is gonna happen. You're gonna tell me that they're overhyped, and the only thing you can do is tell me about what happened in the past. You felt that, oh, these teams were pretenders. They didn't beat anybody. Fine. I'm on the bandwagon. I've told people down that stretch, that 82 stretch, we really didn't beat no teams that was worth anything, and we lost to two terrible ones. Okay, cool. Right? At the end of the day, at least tell me why you think they're overhyped. Why they're overhyped this year. You could have talked about the D-line. You could have said that the secondary doesn't look improved to you. You could have said the offense can regress. You could have said all the other things possible out there. But no. You took the most simplest approach and talked about records. You took the most crazy thing that you can pull up to make your point valid. Well, if we doing that, then we can talk about the past of you two. You see, this is the funny thing about media and how they like to address things. They don't like to really fully address it because that will require research. That will require actually paying attention to what they do and not just watching the HBO special. It will require them to actually dig, dive, and get into the nooks and crannies of what this team has done. And guarantee you this, he'll be the first one to come back with the bullshit. But then it wasn't just him. No. We could just have it be just him. We have a popular Vikings YouTuber who has his own take on the overhype of the Lions. Mr. Purple FTW Podcast. A guy that people have went to. He's not going to respond to you. He just wants to say his piece. I get it. But he has some fine words to say too, which lends itself to another level of why you should never talk with emotion, but logical, informed information. Let's hear what my man from Purple FTW Podcast had to say.
We're back. You know what it is. Messy ass garage cast time. A little bit of a raw real rant because everyone and their mom this offseason, ever since the 2022 season ended, have been all up on the Lions' ass. It's like the roar has been restored. They're going to take the North back and never give it back for a long time. Oh, wait, that was supposed to be the Bears. But I fully understand that Dan Campbell has that squad playing well. I like the moves that Brett Holmes made, even though a lot of people cooked him because of their draft this year. I mean, you came in with 6-18, and you exit the first round with a part-time running back and an off-ball linebacker who doesn't rush the passer. I mean, Gibbs and Campbell are studs. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I don't know, man. But yeah, everyone and their mom has already said the Lions are going to win the North. The Lions are going to do this. They're going to do that. They're ranked high in the power rankings, top 10 in most places. And I don't know. It's just like, I don't understand it. I really do people forget that the Lions started out at 1-6 last year? And now, yes, the Lions certainly gave the Vikings a game at US Bank Stadium the first time around. It sort of is what it is. But I'm not ready to buy in. Like that defense, even though they suture things up, they added some great free agents, as well as they address things on defense. They're going to try and get after it. Fully understand that, but I don't quite see it yet. I really don't. I think this is a team that's still in transition. I think that's a team in flux. I think Jared Goff is perfectly fine with Ben Johnson specifically. I think this offense is going to score points, but also, I mean, the cat's sort of out of the bag. Where the whole thing about the cat and mouse game is the offseason is where teams play catch up, where especially if you have a new coordinator, they're trying things differently, and sometimes it's hard to catch up to you in season because everyone's grinding week by week. But give them a full off season, and if you don't adjust, that's when teams catch up to you. And that's what I'm concerned with to a degree with the Vikings, where Kevin O'Connell, first year as the head coach, the play caller, the everything, now give teams a full off season. Maybe they'll find ways to shut down Justin Jefferson. Maybe they'll find ways to make Kirk Cousins not have the best season of his career. But
I just wanted to give you a sample size of how he went into it. He started off, he gave him a little praise. He questioned a few things, little side-eye stuff. You know what I'm saying? He said what he said, but the problem I have is you're talking about a Lion team being overhyped when your team won 13 of its games by the hairs of their chinny chin chin. You're talking about the same team that not only lost to this overhyped team last year, but almost lost both games had it not been for a miracle play. All right, we give it that. You acting as if though the Vikings are so far ahead of the Lions. You're talking like the Vikings should be the cream de crop. They should be the favorites. Based on what? Based on the fact that you lost a number of good defensive players. Your star DN don't want to be there. Zadarius is gone. Like what should we look at on the Vikings to say that you should be the favorites to take the division? You barely beat us when you did win. You barely beat everybody, to be exact. The biggest threat to your team is gone. There is no Delvin Cook there. Who am I supposed to be worried about? You got the audacity to do a 4-minute preach sermon on the Lions like the Vikings just upgraded they shit to a whole new level. This is what you doing. This is what we doing now. We acting like, oh, all of a sudden now that you can crack jokes about Jared Goff like Kirk Cousins has reinvented the wheel. Jared Goff. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I gave him a little bit of praise. How about you just shut up? You do realize we play 2 games this season. You get a chance to see if it's real. It is the Lions' job to make these people be quiet. It's the Lions' job to make sure that the media's hype was not for naught. But when guys like this come on and talk, like their team is just reinvented the whole entire circuit breaker, they don't come up with the next great thing that everybody must have. Come on, stop it. You've lost more than you even gained. Your best asset is your receivers. And if you ain't paid attention to the Lions, the one thing they upgraded was the secondary. And you don't think that makes it easier for us when we don't have to worry about Delvin Cook? Like, Madison ain't doing all that. Your defense ain't doing all that. You're talking all confident like you just did something. Oh, I'm just so tired of it. I bet you are. For the reason you see right here about Down 19, you jealous. You know what it is. You know what it looked like. You saw it in real time last year. But you made a 4-minute and 13 video about it. He had a little bit more to say. Let's see where he goes with it.
Does not have the best season of his career, but I respect the Lions. I respect Ben Johnson. It's obvious that they play hard for Dan Campbell, but I think they should pump the brakes. And Lions fans have been through a lot, man. Been through a lot where hope can drive a man insane. Where I thought about this before, because being a Vikings fan, it's high expectations and then crushed. High expectations and crushed. And I almost think that it would be better if I was just a Browns fan or a Lions fan, just lowered expectations, just nada there. But I mean, the Lions fans, they're getting a taste this offseason of expectations and hype. Are a lot of them buying in? I don't know. Or are they just comfortably numb at this point? We're losing. We're going to keep on losing. We can't win a playoff game with Stafford and Megatron. All that stuff. But the Lions are going to be tough, don't get me wrong, but I'm not ready to crown their ass. If you want to crown their ass, go ahead, crown their ass. I'm not ready.
I'll crown them for you. But you sound like it's a guy who lacks confidence in his statements. You don't want to come off like you too cocky because you know what time it is. It's like kind of going up to Mike Tyson and telling him you're going to beat his ass only to realize you can't fight. It's like going up to that girl that you know is way out of your league, knowing that she gonna tell you no, but you telling your friends, I went over there and you know what, she was talking or smelled like fish. Whatever you came up with to avoid the real truth in the room, it's like you doing that. It's like you doing that. Oh, they're going to be tough. Then what you talking about? You want to crown it? Then you crown their ass. You already did when you said they're going to be tough. You already did when you said they played you tough. But you want to, if you want to crown them, then crown them. Oh, that's a good quote. I know who Denny Green was and where he came from. But stop playing with us. Because what you sound like is a guy who knows what the outcome is and you're praying. You're bagging. You've bought holy water and everything. You got the whole setup to get my Vikings past Lions preacher special. You know what it is. Why are you making it complicated on yourself, trying to act all confident in the idea that the Lions are overhyped? You literally are using the Lions for views. You're talking with a moxie like, oh, this is where it's at. This is how it's done. Let me get in on this. Even if they're talking bad about me, I still get a view. 4 minutes and 13 seconds. You think he was still done talking? No. Let the man speak some more.
If you want to crown their ass, go ahead, crown their ass. I'm not ready to do it, man, but I still think that the Vikings, it's their division to lose. The Packers are clearly rebuilding. The Bears are more styled.
It's the Vikings division to lose. It's the Vikings division to lose. Based on what? What you smoked last night? I want to know what this based on. What did they improve at for it to be their division to lose? Okay.
That substance at this point. I mean, the Bears may be fine in a couple of years. It ain't right now. But yeah, again, I'm not ready to be kissing the Lions' ass. I think the Vikings are going to show up and show out. The Vikings are going to have a top 3 offense in the league. The defense is going to be super opportunistic under Brian Flores. And yeah, Lions are going to get better, sure. And they'll probably be aided by a non-1-6 start. But get ready for a fight, man. I mean, the Vikings, they won the division last year, 13-4, want some more. We won't talk about the playoff game, but ain't going to give it up for free.
And again, another person back to the record. That record was fraudulent. That record was more fraudulent than the Gucci bag you buy your wife or your girl out the back of the damn Yukon Denali or whatever. Like, come on, it's not real. And then you come on here with a 4-minute. I'm gonna let you finish.
Gonna give it up, ain't gonna let you down, baby. That's right. So hey, Lions fans, bring it. It's gonna be a fun year, man. Can't wait to see it. But let's go. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts.
Lions fans, bring it. Boy, you need something, huh? You need some you need some LTD. For those who don't know who that group is, Love, Togetherness, and Devotion. You need to bring your fan base together for this. I feel like they're like, pray your powers activate. Pray your powers activate. He's trying to convince himself that his team has gotten better. You literally just earlier in the clip questioned your head coach, but now you believe they got better. What a joke. What a joke. Like the Vikings was the new gangster. They're not even a street level thug. They barely making it. They have lost a lot of key players. I expect the Lions to win the division. And it sounds like you do too. It sounds like Sam Asio do too. Because y'all can't tell me why we're not doing it this year. But you can certainly tell me about what happened in the past, can't you? You can't tell me about the moves that we made. No. But you can tell me about what y'all did last year. And this is the BS that they're doing. This is how they want to present this media to us. And then there are those who do ask legitimate questions. There are those who are starting to understand what we need to put our focus on. It's not many. It's not like it's a whole lot. It's just a few. There are those who are acting as if though the Lions conversation should not be had. And it's the Lions' job to make sure that they understand that it should absolutely be had. And it's a thing that we have to be honest about when talking about this. Because, God forbid, there be some hype around another team. Oh, they just restored the roar. I don't remember nobody using that word but you. You were the one who seemed to be concerned. You the one that seemed to be upset and afraid. It's their division to lose. Your coach been outcoached by our coach already. Your team has been outplayed by our team. Even a blind squirrel gets a nut. A clock is even right twice a day. You barely beat us. This team that you saying ain't did nothing. This is funny. Anthony, you out here, you in rare form, I see. I mean, we doing this. Now, this guy right here brought some concerns up that I said, you know what? This is fair. This is fair. He had concern one. He says, I don't love the DeAndre Swift running back swap out for rookie Jahmyr Gibbs. Y'all know I was one of the few people, if not probably the only person who didn't like that idea neither. I thought we should have capped Swift, we should have capped Gibbs, and we should have capped Montgomery. Oh, well, Luke, you can't play them all. Yes, the hell you can. Yes, you can. You find ways to use Gibb in different situations. You could have ran wildcat packages and everything. You make it happen. You know I was on board with that. He says, who routed mostly in college and did not gain 1,000 yards in any one season. I think Swift is really good and could have a giant year with the Eagles. I do understand that there may have been frustrations with his inconsistent ability due to injury, but youth and unproven players always cause a bit of anxiety. Lions fans should enjoy Gibbs' skill set as a receiver right away, so I get it. This is a good place to start. It's been very odd to watch DeAndre Swift status rise the moment the Lions traded him. There's an idea out there of what Swift was in Detroit, and it's just not true. And I agree. I don't think it was true what they did with Swift. I don't think it was true what they did with Swift. And my biggest concern is have we just brought in Gibbs to be another Theo Riddick? I'm praying that it's not the case. He reminds me so much of Javid Best. Great. But even Javid Best got more passing plays than run plays, and I didn't like that. I didn't. He brings up concern number 2. He said that this won't be a surprise to anyone, least of all Lions fans. But the biggest concern I have for this team are on defense. And this is where I believe that we should be discussing the Lions. If a person is going to say we're overhyped and they're going to give reasons, talk about this kind of stuff. Talk about this kind of stuff. Talk about things that you can see going forward. He says, per True Media, the Lions rank 28th in scoring defense. Don't really care. 30th in getting off the field on third downs. That's huge. That's huge. You got to get off the field on third down. Allowing a 45% conversion rate. They allow 5.2 yards per rush. Only the Chargers were worse. That's concerning. All despite blitzing 33% of the time, which was 6th highest in the league. That's even more concerning. In all likelihood, to try and stop the bleeding after week 7 when the Lions were 1-6, Dan Campbell fired defensive backs coach Aubrey Pleasant, and other internal changes were contemplated. Credit defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn for blocking out the noise and temporarily propping up this side of the ball with an even keel personality and improved execution. Signing free agent defensive back Emmanuel Mosley and CJ Gardner-Johnson to 1-year deals doesn't solve the issues long term, but it does get them back into even par. Okay. The Lions have $22 million in cap space left for 2023, but 3 times that for 2024. I know Detroit used a first-round pick on linebacker Iowa's Jack Campbell, but I still worry about it. Being able to stop anyone in the near future, run or pass, at least it will be fun watching them try to outscore people, especially in the division. If this person comes out and said that they're overhyped and gave that explanation, how in the hell do you fight with that? How do you fight with that? Because this, on top of a question that was provided by one Mr. Steve Ruiz from The Ringer, who asked the question, where's the Lions improvement coming from that helps them take that leap? I mean, it's a fair question. Peter Botowski stated, they were an elite offense last year already, and one of the worst defense in the league. Does a couple of mid-level cornerback signings change that much? Okay, so let's talk about it. The reality is that is a concern for Lions. And I know we added some more people to the D-line. I saw it. I know we added Adonis. Oh, I forgot. I'm always botching people's names, but I know we added him from the Colts. I know that cover team's there. Okay, cool. So they know that they need to address that area of the ball. Great. But everything that we are hyped about, everything that we are excited about starts with the defense. It starts there. My concerns still remain. Did we do enough to stop the run? Did we see enough done this offseason to stop the run? But when you talk about those 2 issues that he points out here, how can you get mad? How do you get upset? It's a fair thing. It's a fair question. And it's one of those things that you have to be able to say, you know what? Cool. Maybe I need to look at this a little bit different. But they wasn't talking about this. Sam Asio wasn't talking about this. Purple FTW Podcast wasn't talking about this. They sound like two little kids who were scared to tell the bully, "I beat your ass." That's what they sounded like. But the reality is, these are fair concerns. These are concerns we should all have. And the sad part is, I don't think Kansas City is going to give you a real test to figure out if we can stop the run. I feel confident that we did enough to contend with the pass. The run, well, that was the downside. And I believe that Kansas City is going to commit to the run way more than they're going to, commit to the pass way more than they're going to run it. And I believe we're going to beat Kansas City. But Kansas City, I don't believe will run the ball more than 19 times. And I'm talking about take out the quarterback runs too. The reality is, we should be concerned about those things. We should. Now, in all fairness, even with those concerns, I believe the Lions should win this division. Even with a harder schedule, I believe the Lions should win this division. It's really simple. Sweep the teams in your division. There go 6 wins. There go 6 off rip. Sweep the teams in your division. At that point, you just need 6 more wins. And there are 6 teams you can get them from. You just have to let it happen. Now, on the other side of it, the D-line is still concerning. The D-line is still something we should be looking at. But this fan base needs to be able to address those. This fan base needs to be able to see how certain concerns going into the season are perfect for you. Another thing that particular GM who had a problem with the Lions or had the concerns brought up was the Lions are no longer a surprise to anyone. There is no sneaking up on you. There is no, I didn't know they were coming with this. People are paying attention to you. People are aware of what you're doing. There is no coming in like a ninja in the night and getting out before they ever knew you was there. Those days are over. There is no circling a win for teams on the Lions. Those days are over. And that's a testament to your general manager. That's a testament to your head coach. That's a testament to the players who was brought here. But the team itself, did they do enough to address the run? Did they do enough to address the mobile quarterback? Did they do enough to not only win a division, but run away with it? The answer is yes, perfect. Clap it up. If the answer is no, we got work to do. And there are still moves to be made. And what I don't want to hear fans talk about is we didn't have money. When I showed many times throughout the season, we did have money. We had it. We still got it. But you got to spend it wisely. So what does this bring us to my next point? The concerns about the Lions stopping teams on third down. That shit real. The concerns about the defense. That shit real. The concerns about us, having to prove to people that we belong is real. I don't want anything given to us. I want to take it. And when they do take it, the roar ain't been restored. We can't call it that yet until we take another step. See, being competitive is just step one of the major phase for the full roar to be back. Right now, we cleared our throat. We got a large up in there. It's clearing the throat. But we got to go out and show it. We got to go out and win. And I'm certainly not concerned with no damn Vikings. They the least of my worries. Viking fans over there thinking to themselves right now, because they already know what it is. They know what it looks like. They know what time it is. But the reality is that the Lions still have to show the people. I can go around telling everybody I'm the world's fastest man until I put myself in front of a camera and let the people see to the world that I'm the fastest person. Doesn't matter. It's just talk. And we have to be prepared for that. We have to be prepared for the people who are going to doubt us. We have to be prepared for the people who are going to overlook us. Prepare for the people who are not going to take us light. We got to be prepared to do what they said we could not do and stop the run. And as a fan base, as my man Miko say, you got to come into it with real expectations and high expectations because they should not be low. We done with that. He had the skit from Mad TV, the lower expectations skit. Like, really? Interesting. This is not the same Lions team. You sweep your division at 6 games. You get the Falcons, that should be 7. You got the Seattle Seahawks. If you can stop the run, that should be 8. You got the Panthers, who embarrassed you. If you can stop the run, that should be 9. The Buccaneers, that should be 10. You should be able to beat the Raiders. They go 11. You need 6 wins in the division to shut everybody up. And before people started saying, well, they was 5-1 last year in the division. It was the idea that they didn't do enough in the other games. We lost a tiebreaker. You lost to a bum team like the Panthers. It can't happen this year. You're going to play the Saints. And I know they got Derek Carr. You should beat them. You sweep the division. They go 6. You just need 6 more wins. I don't care how you get them. Beat Kansas City. That could be 1. Don't care. You just need 6 wins. But the questions that they're asking in terms of the concern, are the cornerbacks enough to stop the run? That's fair. Have they did enough to come in and say that, hey, we can take that jump? That's fair. To say that you don't like that you got rid of DeAndre Swift and you're hoping on this guy being it when you're going to use him as a receiver, that's fair. I'm all for keeping it fair. But I'll be damned if we're not going to act like we shouldn't be winning the division with 10 plus wins, because we should be sweeping the division. And before people start getting on this hype train about what Jordan Love going to be, don't care. Go out and make him look like he was a mistake. Before people start talking about how they improved the Bears, don't care. Go out and make it look like that they should still be at the bottom. To the people who like to hype up the Vikings, even though most of us is paying attention to what they lost, don't care. Go out and make them look like that. That's what I want to see. I want to see them look like what I think they are. And not be let them off the hook. Nah, F that. But you're talking about cornerbacks. I'm saying I'm getting messages from people who don't like the cornerback rankings for the NFC when it comes to the Lions, who don't like the cornerback rankings for the NFL when it comes to the Lions, and they haven't proved that they've come together yet. This is where we, the fan base, got to be able to be realistic and say, you know what? They're going to have to show me the same way they're going to have to show them. Yeah, Sutton going to have to prove it. Mosley going to have to prove it. Chauncey Gardner, hey, we know what he was, but can he still be that? He going to have to prove it. We know what Branch was. Can he prove it? They going to have to show it. And it's going to have to show up consistently in such a way that these people, like Sam Accio, like Purple FTW Podcast, and all the other doubters who are riding the fence. Because right now, what people are doing is they're using the Lions name to beat the YouTube algorithm. They're not really following the Lions. They're not really studying the Lions. They watch ESPN, they watch Fox Sports, and they simply come back and make content based on popular topics said on there. And then we as a fan base go and hear what they say, and we fall in love and subscribe and like and all that other bullshit. But they're not really trying to talk about this team legitimately. They want your clicks. I want you to be able to see it all at every level. I want you to be able to see the people who are acting as if though their faith or their willingness to accept certain things is too much to bear. I want that group of people to shut the hell up and eat their words. That's what I want. I want that group of people to come back and second guess themselves. That's what I want. I put the link in the description because, I'm in a good mood. I'm in good vibes mode. You want to jump in and talk to me about some things that these people have said? It's there for you. It's pinned. Feel free to jump in and talk your stuff. Feel free to get in the building on this. I got time today. You notice I'm on earlier than usual? Because I got time today. Let me bring in our first guest, Down 19. What up, though, brother?
Luke, my God, what's going on?
Hey, I'm in a happy mood today. I'm in the best mood I've been in a long time.
Hey, that's good to hear. Everything that you and your family going through. Hopefully the good spirits keep up with you, brother.
Hey, I'm praying for it. What you got, man? I hit on a lot. J-Mo playing with firecrackers is apparently that's stupid. You got all these people who think we just overhype. Okay, cool. But then they want to talk about things that don't have anything to do with this year. That's great. We talk about the general manager who had concern. What do you have thoughts on?
The one thing I hate when people say the Lions not gonna win the division. The one thing I hate when I see people say the reason why we won't win the division because the Lions are the Lions. I hate that statement.
What does that mean? Bro. The Lions are the Lions?
I hear that every single time, bro. Like, give me a description. Is the D line gonna be bad? Can we not stop give me an example. The Lions are the Lions? That doesn't make sense.
That's like I don't know if you've seen this movie, but it's called Radio with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Yeah.
They say sometimes you gotta let radio be radio.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? The Lions are the Lions? Are you trying to say that the Lions should just they should just accept and say we should be losers. I mean,
Right.
What kind of fan? Listen, bro. I don't even believe in tanking. You know why?
Right.
Use the Pistons as a perfect example. They tanked. Did it work out for them?
Nope.
I want to win everything. I don't believe in this whole tank for this or tank for that. Nah, I want to win.
It's just I don't understand, bro. But hey, we, like you said, the Lions have a job to do to prove themselves that they are the NFC North favorite. They have a chance to prove it. So we'll see.
Yeah, you got 6 games against the division.
Mm-hmm.
You sweep them, then you're just talking about basically finding another 6 games. And that shouldn't be hard, because if you beat the Kansas City Chiefs, which I expect them to do, I've been saying it for the longest. I also expected us to beat the Eagles last year. But hey, I was told I was crazy. No, we didn't beat them, but they clearly showed that they can play with the Eagles. It's just that the defense couldn't stop a damn nosebleed.
Yeah. I think the Kansas City game gonna be tougher in Kansas City. Like, the Detroit crowd was behind us, so I can see it being tougher. But I agree, it's an opportunity to prove yourself. Like, you one of these teams that could contend in the NFC. So we'll see. But another thing, the concern I got for the Lions is kind of the wide receiver group.
Okay.
It's kind of mid to me, like
they were still number one scoring. They were still the number one scoring offense with that receiving group, and they added back Marvin Jones, who gives them a deep ball threat and a jump ball talent, which essentially is what they had with Chark. So why be concerned with that?
I think we got like a lot of solid guys. It's just not the him guy. We don't have a him guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have like a Justin Jefferson. Yeah.
Why it can't be him? Especially when I got to read articles that the Lions are going to trade for Cooper Kupp. Why can't it be him? Right? Amon-Ra St. Brown has been the most effective, efficient thing we've had on our receiving corps. And the last time we had this much love for somebody who had this same similar style, I can name you so many receivers who make that same standard. Johnny Morton had that same standard. Golden Tate had that same standard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those guys can be the guys. I understand if you have a concern with that group, I get it.
Yeah.
But my concern is like minimum at best, because anything added to that group is there. Then you add in a tight end who's very similar to TJ Hockenson, but with more speed. And I mean, you got options. You got a running back who can be as dynamic as Javid Best.
Yeah.
Why be concerned about it?
Yeah, that's probably, well, my other concern goes to the health of our center, Frank Ragnow.
That's fair.
That's gonna be one to keep an eye on, because that toe injury scared the hell out of me. That's a big concern for me.
No, and I think that's fair. I think any fan who comes to this season that don't have legitimate concerns, they're lying to themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you come into the season, you got no concerns. It's just we finna watch this whole season out. We win to the second round of the playoffs, maybe an NFC championship game, and you're just cool with that. Okay, all right. Okay,
right.
Okay. But the reality is you should have concerns.
Yeah. I don't think like no team in the NFL doesn't have concern. Even the Kansas City Chiefs. Like, every team has like a concern. So that's the truth. Yeah, that's all I wanted to come on here and say. Chop it up with my guy Luke.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. As always, man. Thank you for all the positive words, the prayers, and everything, man. Appreciate
Yes, sir. We're gonna keep on praying for you, brother.
All right, sir. Appreciate it. I mean, that's fair. If he had concerns with the receivers, it's hard for me to see it, but shit, I get it. Because you're expecting for certain people to be in the damn mix. You're not going to have one of those guys for 6 weeks. Perry Ball says, as Luke, do you think the Lions got hot last year, or do you think there was a real change? I think there were some real changes. But I also think that we could have did a little bit more to help some of those changes. We could have did a little bit more to help the interior D-line. We could have did a little bit more to help the linebackers. But let's say Campbell goes out and have 150 tackles, right? Great. I'm going to be paying attention to where those tackles are at because we had a linebacker with a bunch of tackles and they were always well past the line of scrimmage. Well past. So off rip, that's going to be a concern for me. But yeah, I think they did. 100%. Patty Grimes says, tanking only worked for San Antonio. Apparently it did. Apparently it did. I'm with you, TA. I got to see it. I see it every time in my dreams. Shout out to my man, the Durham, man. Shout out to you. He took my pain and my hurt to his church. Put it in his heart, and he I appreciate you so much. I appreciate the prayers and the kind words, the reaching out to check on me and to put my dilemma into your prayers. I appreciate that. The Sun God is our best players, hands down. I mean, good job trying to stop him. I don't hear nobody had these concerns with Cooper Rush. Cooper Kupp. I don't hear nobody having no problems with him. He just keeps on ticking from the slot. And it's the same thing that Golden Tate used to do, giving people hell. You know? It just is what it is. I hope we can stuff the run better. That's the only concern we got. You have to be able to stop the run, especially in those later months. You have to be able to stop the run and run the ball. So David Montgomery's going to have to be available. Gibbs is going to have to break some long runs to put some respect on his name. See, everybody talks about Elvin Kamara, but Elvin Kamara will break a long run. He made you respect it. We talk about the Javid Best comparison. I mean, it's so scary how identical it is. I mean, one of them is like 1 inch taller. The other one is 1 pound lighter. They both had 0.1 second slower. Same exact numbers. I made a post on my community page. Same thing. It's just 100% what it is. Joseph Murdoch says, it's been a minute since I've been able to catch a live show. Moving back to Michigan from Washington State helped. Hey, welcome back home. Michigan is one of the best states, and I'm not because I live here, but it really is. We don't have nearly half the stuff that happens in other states. We don't have like these super wild, strange earthquakes, hurricanes. We don't have all that stuff. Just putting it out there. But for this team, this year, for the people who have concerns, fair. But to the people who just blindly, they're overhyped, and the entire time you're talking, you're double talking and tiptoeing around facts, yeah, shut up. To the people who concerned about a guy lighting a firework, it's 1 a.m. Shut up. He was at home. You acting like he's at somewhere he wasn't supposed to be. You acting like he was out when he wasn't supposed to be out. He was lighting the firework, the same firework that you was lighting. Oh, but I don't get paid to catch the ball, Luke. So what? Even more excuse for you not to do it. He can actually pay to get new hands. It's stupid. To the people who keep acting like they don't understand the importance of having a run game and a defense that stops the run, especially late in the year and through the playoffs, go and look at the facts. Look at the teams in the playoffs who won. I bet you they outrushed the other team. To the people who act as if though that, you can't have any critical statements about the Lions. Go grab a Snickers. You're not yourself. You're hungry. To the media who has been lazy in their approach, I'm asking you to be better in my LeBron James voice and outfit. Be better tomorrow. Because all I've been hearing is a whole lot of talk about the offense. The same offense that we forget that you have drawn up and jarred up all this energy on the offensive coordinator to only act like it doesn't matter. And I'm getting very little information about the defense. And yes, adding that new D tackle is going to be a good start. But Covington, he's not going to make this team. He's not making this team. Come on now, let's be for real. There's a few players on the defensive line that's not making this team. So the ones who do make it, you need them to step up and step up big. My man Looney Tunes says, how many rushing yards do you think Montgomery will have? 1,000. Oh, Luke, come on, man. You tripping. 1,000 yards rushing? Yeah. Yeah, Montgomery knows how to make you miss. And he's going to be playing behind a better offensive line than he was playing behind with the Bears. And if you go through and you just do the rough math yourself, feel free. Take 1,000. I'll help you out with the equation. It's not hard. Take 1,000. Divide that by 17 games. He basically needs 58.8235294118 yards. Essentially rounded on up. He needs 59 yards a game. You tell him you can't get that? If he gets 120 in one game, he's already ahead of schedule. 1,000. And I expect to see it. Luke, who do you think at running back would be the odd man out? Craig Reynolds. He was given a few shots and nothing. It wasn't like a whole lot of shots, but nothing. And the reason that they like the kid from Minnesota so much is because he's a similar running style as Jamal Williams. He's similar in running style to David Montgomery. But I think Craig Reynolds is the odd guy out. Now, if he can somehow, push back and keep that guy off the good. But right now, I think he's the odd guy out. That's just me. Shout out to my man Mike, my man Buck, one of the sponsors from Man Hour, who's the reason why I'm on here right now. Shout out to him. If you don't know what Man Hour is, go over there. It's great content. They're doing all kind of cool stuff. And at the very least, you're going to think about some things. Even if you think it's questionable, at least you got to think about it. So shout out to him. We got my man says, Luke, how many catching yards do you think David Montgomery will have? Like 100 and something. I don't think he's going to get many opportunities. I think, and this is what concerns me, this is what bothers me about the Gibbs signing. I think he's going to become Theo Riddick 2.0. I don't think they're going to run him as much as they should. I could be wrong. Let me bring in another guest. It's been a while since I talked to my family. Not only do he do great content, he's consistent. He's consistent in the great content he produces. He's thoughtful. He checks on people. He keeps his stuff based solely on the facts. He keeps the emotion stuff to the side. And despite what he say, his hairline is fucking awesome. I'm talking about my man Anthony from RachelMarieSports UK. What up, though, brother?
What up, though, Luke? How are you?
Hey, listen, it's beautiful to hear the what up, though, from the UK. It sounds good.
You introduced us to the phrase. Like when I started first doing this with you, you said you got to do the what up, though. And I've taken that on, and it's part of me now, Luke. What can I say? Part of you there, part of me. I just wanted to pop in and say, look, I heard everything you said at the start of the show. I was on my way home from work, so I wasn't able to come in a little bit earlier. But I just want to say how glad it is to have you back, and I just want to say how happy I am that your nephew's going to be fine. After what happened, I'm just very glad, and it's good to hear you happy again. I just wanted to come in and say hello because I have missed you.
Listen, I've missed you all. I miss doing this. But my mind, my spirit, everything was with my family. My brother dealing with this. I ended up basically, doing a lot of things with his children, just to help them keep their mind off of it. They had a number of breakdowns. My brother, who's already in a state of I don't know what's going on and what this is going to look like, because when the doctor comes in and tell you, hey, he's been shot, you think, okay, you hoping that it's something small, like, hey, maybe he got hit in the hand or the foot, or let's keep it something simple, please. Just something. And when they say the head, it's like the head. And you start to see these little victories where he opens his eyes up and you're like, okay, at least he opened his eyes up. But now he's not talking, and we don't know if he's going to ever talk or if he's going to be normal. And then a few days go by, and not only is he talking, he's eating, swallowing food without issue. He's stronger than ever, and he walks into a house on a day that I didn't think was going to happen. I saw him walk through the house, and you can't describe an emotion like that when you don't know the outcome, and then you get so much good news on top of it, and then you hear the statistics: 95% of people with that injury do not make it, and he's in a 5 percentile. It's nothing but God. So yes, I am happy. I'm excited, and that's why I was like, "Hey, I got the good vibe music on today."
If anyone deserves those sort of odds and getting it, then it's you. You know, just the amount of good you spread into the world and everything you've done for us, and that it's, you know. Again, I was worried. I'm just really glad that you're happy, and I just, you know, it's good that I can come on and talk to you again and say, you know me, my Discord's open whenever you want. We've had plenty of chats at stupid o'clock in the morning. It's always open. It is always there. I will always pick up. So I just want to say it's good to have you back on, man.
Hey, I appreciate you so much, man. And like I said, it means a lot. I don't think people realize how much it means. This is probably why I respond to every single comment I get. And why I've always tried my best to help other people, because it does matter for me. You know, like it does. Like the job I have is helping other people. And so I take it serious. I take it very serious, and I understand that it's not going to always be this way in most cases, but it matters to me. You know, what you do in helping your neighbor is important. And so, but thank you for all the prayers, the positive words, putting yourself there. Miko, he reached out, and was like, "Hey man, I'm here for you. You need to talk and vent. You just need a moment or whatever." So many people did this, and it was just knowing that I had that was huge. It was huge, which is why I'm in a totally good vibe here. Every prayer, every thought. I don't care what the religion was. I don't, you could have been atheist. Like I said before, if you atheist, just this one time, pray for me. I didn't care. No. And when I talked to my nephew, I talked to him just yesterday, and it amazes me at how strong he is and what he's been through and what he came through. So yeah, 100%, man. I'm ecstatic. As you see, I had my moment of rant where I had to talk about these people who felt the need to talk about the overhype part. I've seen you guys address this as well. I don't know if y'all was aware of the Viking fan who was talking though. Did you know about him?
Oh, they love to talk, don't they? I don't see it exactly. I came back into the show because I was on my way back and I saw the whole fraudulent Vikings thing, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll get in on this. They're the biggest frauds going.
Yeah, I think it's funny that he has a view where he really believes that the Vikings are the favorite for the division. Like, you lost Devin Cook. Zadarius Smith ain't there. You lost a lot. I like the Byron Murphy pickup. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, let's just say their chances of winning the NFC North this year are the same as my chances of winning Best Mullet competition this year. It's just we're gonna beat them down, absolutely.
You say it's not. I mean, but we should beat them down, and the fans should expect it. They should demand it.
100%, Luke. I'm with you. I want the NFC North this year. And these years don't come around very often. The division is there to be taken, and you never know what next year's going to bring. Everyone goes, oh, well, if it doesn't happen this year, we're building, Fields could be a superstar this year. The Bears could be better. Jordan Love might be better than with. Next year is not guaranteed. You have got to put your foot down when it is there for the taking. And this year, the division is there to be taken. We have the players. We have the talent. We have everything we need. So go out there, put those words into action and show us that you can break all these damned curses and winless streaks, playoff streaks, all this. Show us it's behind you now. And I think we can do it. And we should expect, as fans, us to do it this year.
Yeah, I agree. Perry Ball says at Luke and Anthony, do you think the Lions will take it slow with Gibbs at running the ball? Anthony, I'm going to let you go first with it, because I got an interesting take in a way that, again, it's a concern of mine, but I got a very interesting take. I'll let you go. Do you think they're going to take it slow with Gibbs?
No, I don't think they should. I think you should utilize, Montgomery and Gibbs are a strength of your team, so you should give them both the ball early. You should not be afraid to give them the ball. And as far as Gibbs is concerned, I think by the end of this season, we're going to be manufacturing touches for him. I do genuinely believe in the impact he is going to have on this team. His development through college, he's done it at the lower level, he's done it at the higher level. He is a great receiver, and he's really underrated as a running back. People always focus on his receiving, but as a running back, he's really good as well. So I think he's going to shock people early, and if we give him the ball a lot in his first few games, I will not be upset with that. I think it's why we got him. We want those mismatch weapons who can turn games in our favor. Brad Holmes talks about it a lot. And this is one of the guys who's going to be part of that. So I would absolutely give him the ball early.
Yeah, and shout out to my man, Matt. I know that's Matt in there doing the Roar of the Lions UK. So shout out to Matt, man. Missed you, brother. This is just my viewpoint on it. I do think they're going to take it slow with him. And I think that's a mistake. And the reason I get that vibe is because this is what they've done with most of their players. They have brought them along slowly. Even Imrod was brought along slowly. And while people say, oh, that's not true, it's absolutely true. If you look at how often they were playing him and on what significant downs, they were avoiding certain things and stuff. So they were bringing him along slow. They did the same thing with Jameson. I think Jameson had been healed, but they wanted to make sure that he had more time to heal, so it's even better. So I get that too. But my issue is what Anthony bring up, what so many other people bring up, what TA brings up. Are you going to be able to commit to giving him the ball as a runner? We know what he's going to be as a catcher. We know what he's going to do in terms of catching out the backfield. But as a runner, are you going to trust his ability as a runner to run the ball and give him the opportunities? I don't think they do that. I think David Montgomery is going to be your guy. They'll probably do an even split, but I feel like on third downs, you'll get gives in on crucial third downs where they need an extra guy that's going to motion out for a receiver. But for the most part, this is David Montgomery's show. This is his show, in my opinion. And now if he goes down and then all of a sudden, Gibbs stay hot, then we can change that. But for right now, I think they do bring him along slow. I just do.
I'm just glad that you mentioned Rodrigo there a minute. That's the thing I've missed about you is when I start hyping up Rodrigo, and I just hear that sigh in the background, like, oh, for God's sake, here he goes again.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
I miss that. He's like
the Imrod talk has been like people have. I have yet to hear people really take about. Everybody went immediately. Oh, this is bad news for Barnes. What? What do you mean? No, it's not. This is bad news for the guy who was starting next to Alex Anzalone. Imrod Campbell was bad news for him, but no, Lions fans are like, I'm not wavering on it. He's that guy, and I'm like, he's a good piece, but he's not starter quality. He's not a starter guy. I'm sorry.
I've missed this, Lou.
The Dern says, hot take. This would be the last year we have Tracy Walker, unless he blows up. I think given the fact that you brought in Branch, I think the fact that you still have Chauncey Gardner, I think Chauncey Gardner is going to have to take his spot. If Gardner doesn't take his spot, I don't think Tracy Walker goes nowhere because Tracy Walker can play both safety spots. Now, do I like him in the box? Absolutely not. Right? Like, I want no parts of him being in the box. However, we are getting to an NFL style of defense where having more DBs is just as important as having a lot of receivers. And I think that when you look at Tracy Walker, if you're going to cut somebody and get some money or trade somebody that has some trade value to him so you can sign one of these other guys, yeah, I can see Tracy Walker being out. I don't know if it's necessarily a hot take, but it's definitely a take that I think many people are expecting to go down because given the fact that you got Branch, you got Chauncey Gardner on a one-year deal, and if he performs, you want to give him an extended deal. On top of that, you got Kirby Joseph, and with Kirby Joseph and Branch, you can essentially have the same persons. And I think that Tracy Walker and Kirby Joseph are the exact same people. That's just me. What you think, Anthony?
I mean, I think Tracy's still young, let's forget. I mean, he's 28 this year. He's on a deal that's not all that offensive against the cap. But I think he will see out his contract here. And I would do that simply because I think the plan is to have him, if by the time he's done in 2 years, he is, say, safety 4 here, Kirby's in front of him, Brian's in front of him, if Gardner Johnson stays here, he's in front of him. I think that's a great thing to have. I think you want that strength in depth, but guys like Tracy, they're loyal to the cause here, to the team. You need guys like that around. And I think the way you've seen him battle back from his injury, he wants to be back here. He wants to play here. And I think you've got to have players like that around. And with all these talented youngsters we've got, there's no better role model for them than him. So for me, I think he'll keep the 2. I would be surprised and maybe disappointed if he was let go last year, unless he has a really bad year, unless that injury has completely banjaxed him. But outside of that, I would want him to stay 2 years.
Yeah, appreciate it, 100%. 100%. I just think it's just going to boil down to who steps up and who don't. And what money you want to spend, and who don't. This Lions regime is drafting playmakers versus signing free agent is how you create a championship team. I think there are many ways to create a championship team. I don't think that this way is wrong. I don't think that that's the case. But in my opinion, yeah, you look at some of the most best played teams, they drafted their players. They did not go out in free agency and try to get a bunch of people. And that has shown up in and time out through history. That's just facts. So yeah, I get it. I get it. To the people who are discussing Roar the Lion UK, let me first knock this in the box really quick. Yes, tonight is the last show. I'm sorry, not Roar the Lions UK, but Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Tonight is the last show for Detroit Lions on the Prowl. As you know, Jim passed away many years ago, and it was Jim, Tim, and Jim's widow, Val, who did this show. And then they brought in Curt. They brought in LL. They brought in my man Woven Lion, right? Like aka Mike Jones. And they kept it going and they kept it going. And I don't want people to think because they're not going to be doing shows anymore that it is over for them. The Facebook page is staying up. They're just not making no more videos. This is not something that ends the legacy of Detroit Lions on the Prowl at all. First black man on the net, come back, brother. I saw you. Just come back. But this is not something that ends this thing for them at all. What it is something that, in my opinion, just completes a great legacy, right? Like, if you ever think about anything that was great, it has to have a conclusion, right? I don't care what the movie is, what the franchise is. It's a reason why people are annoyed with The Simpsons, because it hasn't found a way to give itself a conclusion. And you look at the John Wick series, you look at Jaws or the Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street, you look at all these great franchises, whether it be 2K, or you want to make sure you leave on a note to where people are asking for you to come back, and that's just the reality of it. But yeah, tonight will be the last one. I will be on the show for a brief moment because I want to make sure that for their last episode, I show love and support. They've always done it for me, and that is family for me. So yes.
I if I can quickly piggyback on that, look, I put a tweet out not so long ago because I only just saw it after I got in from work, and I just want to say the same to all the guys who were on that show. I mean, it was like you kind of brought us into your community. We were a tiny little podcast from across the ocean. No one knew who we were. Jim and Curt, they didn't need to invite me onto the show to come and do Free for All Friday and that, and give me a platform to help grow our pod, and they did. And that's what this, Lions social, this is what the YouTube community on Lions is all about. We don't see, rivals for listeners or anything like that. We see opportunities, to build everybody up. And that's what they espouse, building people up, just like you do. And I will be forever grateful to them because I've had so many great Friday afternoons with Val, with Jim when he was here, with Curt, with Tim. It's a staple of my day, and I really enjoyed doing it. And I'm incredibly sad to see them go. And to any of you who are on it, you are always welcome on our shows at Roar the Lions UK as well. You gave a lot to us, and we want to give back if we can. So I wish them all the best. Hopefully I see them round. I've said to Val, if she's around, she needs to stay around because I got way too many Justin Fields jokes that I need to let out into the world. And Val is the one I like to get them with. So, Val, you can't disappear. Please do stick around. But no, honestly, all the best to them. And thank you for everything you did for us. We can't thank you enough.
I cannot. I don't think we do anything that. We've been on for an hour and 29 minutes, basically an hour and 30. I wanted to keep it short today. Again, this is my thank you letter. This is my thank you letter to every person who prayed, to every person who put me in their thoughts, to every person who carried my burden in their heart and said to themselves, man, this is terrible. I hope everything works out for them. To all the people who gave me positive feedback, to every single person who reached out and left me a message, to the people who took my my prayers to their church and took their prayers to their hearts, their spirits, their family, their friends, the other people in the community, I thank you. This was my letter of thank you to you. I'm back. I'm going to be making more videos. I'm going to be, pushing out more videos, trying to get more done. I'm also still going to make sure I'm taking care of myself, because in that time, in that time I didn't really do a lot of self-care in terms of just trying to make sure that everybody else in the family was good. But yeah, I'm back. I plan on going live tomorrow. I got a few things I gotta touch on that I left out today on purpose, because I want to make sure I get at its own stage. But to Anthony for coming in and rocking me for a few minutes, thank you. To all the people who came in and hit the like button, thank you. To Dan Talks Football, who I'm going to be talking to when it comes time for the Lions versus the Chiefs, because he's a Chiefs fan. Thank you. To Friendly Neighborhood Lions fan, thank you. To Morris's Landon, thank you. To Dan Spanos, thank you. To Mr. Marcus 42, thank you. To Lucky Belafonte, thank you. It's not enough thank yous I can give to those people who gave me so much positive energy in a time where, honestly, I don't know how the outcomes were going to be. But many of the things that I did not know what the outcome was ended up coming out with great outcomes. To my nephew, who didn't ask for what happened to him to happen to him, but never stopped fighting, never gave up. I'm proud of you. I am beyond proud of you. I know he told me that although he could not talk, he heard everything we said. Although he could not respond to us, he heard us telling him, you fight. He heard us praying. He heard us crying. And while people may not understand how important that was for me to know, it was everything. And for him to come walking into that house, damn near the same way he walked out, with a small few things. There's a little memory loss there. I mean, a bullet went through his head. But for that to be the case, I am beyond proud of you. I am amazed at you. I am so thankful to God for sparing you, and I'm so thankful for the strength that you had to keep pushing. First black man on the net was in here. I want to try to get him on. What's going on, brother?
Man, what's up? Am I coming through, or did you cut something off?
No, I hear you. I hear you. You sound a little bit far back, but I'm hearing you.
Okay, because I got this Bluetooth on. This thing has been acting up, man. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. What you got for us? Oh, did I lose him already? Oh, no.
Hey,
First
Luke,
black man on the net.
Just very quickly, Luke, I've got a dash to do my show now, but I just want to say, again, it's great to have you back. I'm so happy that, your nephew's recovering, and hopefully I'll see you again very soon.
You sure will, man. I appreciate you for coming through.
Yeah, you take care, Luke.
All right, you have a good one. First black man on the net. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
All right. What you got for me, man?
Okay, look at this. No, it's not. It's hard. It's everything. Right? I think we got to be optimistic about this. Russian fans, they got beat by a couple games. Obviously, the Carolina game. Carolina put a 3-point on that game and messed everything up. The Miami game, let's just start with the Miami game. We gave up 82 yards rushing. Next week, Green Bay, we gave up 106. The Chicago game, in one of the fields, we ran 1.711. We gave up 111. The very next week with the Giants, we gave up 89. The next week with the Bills, we gave up 90. The next week with Jacksonville, we gave up 95. The next week with Minnesota, we gave up 20. The next week with the Jets, we gave up 50. And then came the Carolina night game, which we just talked about. The next week, Justin Fields ran for 132 yards, but the team ran for 68. And in that final game against Green Bay, we gave up 103. I think we got to be a little bit more optimistic about Saturday going into next year. And that's really my take. I think the adjustments they made, man, get rid of certain personnel, whether it's coaches, players, whatever, you know, apply. We're thinking stopping that run. So I think we can be very optimistic going into next year about stopping the run. A few of them games, and obviously that 1-6 start messed everything up. But the 2 Chicago games and that Carolina game, everybody else, man, we murdered them stopping the run. And we dropped mad stuff. From Miami, 107, Green Bay, 117. This is our Russian. Giants, 160. Steele was 164. Jacksonville, right. Minnesota, 134. Jets, 107. And we just got to run that. And what they did this year, we got to run that.
I think it's interesting that you bring up the Russian totals in terms of what they gave up for the games, right? And the reason I look at it like that, like if you look at that small snippet, if you go through and you say, here go the total Russian totals, right? And you break it down like that, it doesn't seem bad. You go, oh, well, you know, they gave up 95 yards. They gave up 22 yards. They get, you know, you start to look at those numbers and you go, okay, oh, cool. But the problem is when you look at those games, right? When you look at this team as a whole, you start with the bigger picture, which is they're ranking against the rush, which was not good, right? Like they was in the bottom of the league against the rush. And it's not the fact that, oh, well, they only gave up this many yards to the Bears rushing. You gave up that many yards to the Bears quarterback who for two games, literally almost had 400 yards rushing on your defense. And when you start to put a little context to it, the Carolina Panthers finished that game with 320 rushing yards, but they had 231 of them in the first half. They just literally said, pass what? For what? You go against a Jets team. A Jets team, I can't even get hyped about you only giving up 50 rushing yards to the Jets team because they didn't even have their best running back, and you struggled to win that game. And on top of that, you still gave up a considerable amount of rushing yards, given the fact that this team really didn't have a quarterback or a rushing attack. You talk about the Vikings game, yeah, they only gave up 22 yards rushing. You came in and shellacked them, good job, right? Like you're not gonna hear no beef out of me for that. That's a good job. But if you were to take the last 10 games, they still gave up almost like 1,000 yards rushing in the last 10 games. And to confidently come in and say that, oh yeah, we shouldn't have no concerns about us stopping the run this year. That's fool's gold.
No. We got mad on this whole squad. We need clowns here. And I don't like all this hype on Twitter and all these artists. And all these fans and I didn't get the hype and the media and all that. No, man. You know, hard and okay. Look, very hard. So all I'm saying is as far as did we get better those last 10 games and picking up the run, I think we got better. Yeah, that's not taking the ball. The Chicago games and the Carolina games, hopefully they address that in all. We don't know. We don't know the unknown, but I know they're looking at it much harder than we do because they can say we look at it. And I'm talking about the leadership. So I think the way we were adjusting and stopping and making a commitment to stop the run, I think we got better. That's all I can say. Are we there?
I mean, like I said, I get it. I know a lot of people they having a hard time hearing you, but I can hear you. You know, even though it's a little bit challenging, I can still hear you. I get what you're saying and stuff in terms of it. I just don't. I think that it would be fool's gold to act like we don't have an issue with stopping the run. It's not just this year; it's the year before that and the year before that where we had problems stopping the run. And when you look at this year, I don't know if we've done enough to address that. But I get what you're saying, though. All right, good people. I've been on for an hour and 40 minutes. I got to get up out of here. I got to go show some love and support to RachelMarieSports UK as I listen to them talk their talk. Also, I got to prepare myself for the last show on Detroit Lions on the Prowl. And, you know, just in general, just enjoy being a good vibes today. Appreciate you for coming on, first black man on the net. And everyone else who jumped in and joined with me and who are in the comment section, I again, thank you. I will be back at it again tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Talking my talk. And I got to end the show on a positive note. Given all the things that happened to me, I never lost hope. I never lost faith or praise that the outcomes would be different. I never once thought that I refused to accept any other outcome. And that mindset helped me in so many ways. I mean, in so many ways that is, I wish I could explain it to you, but my point I'm trying to make to you is sometimes you may not get the right outcome that you're looking for, and sometimes you will. But you must still accept the journey as is and go through it with 100% dignity and faith and, being humble. Like I said, I know there's somebody who didn't get my outcome. I know there's somebody who was not going to be able to talk to that loved one again. But what you did was not in vain. When you prayed about it, it wasn't that it was in vain. I learned a valuable lesson this time, which is sometimes when people pass on, it's not because they leave it because they want to, it's because they have to. It's because they got the call. And at some point in time, we all have to answer that call. But know that whatever it is that you did was not for nothing. Whatever prayer you did, whatever positive steps that you took was not for nothing. It don't always happen the way that you want it to happen, but it's going to happen. And when it does, you just need to be able to accept the results. And pray that you have the ability to understand what you could and could not change. That's my positive word for the day. Again, thank you, everybody. I cannot say it enough. As always, ladies and gentlemen, do not be no chump. Please do your research. I am out.